Welcome, friends and family, to Gents Making Sense. We appreciate you guys checking out another episode. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spoutable. Look for our content. Hit that smash that subscribe button. All right, Mr. Cox, how's it going today?
Good morning. Look at me getting started back. Good evening. How you doing, man? Another
Everything's
day.
good, man. It's been a long day. I get it, man. I get it.
Oh
Hey, look,
yeah.
man,
Oh
we got
yeah.
a good show today, man. We're gonna talk about some good Black leaders in the community, what they're doing, and what we think of their method of trying to uplift the community. This one's called Future Black Leadership: Voices Shaping Tomorrow. So, welcome back to Gents Making Sense, where we celebrate the brilliance, boldness, and boundless potential of Black leadership. Today, we're spotlighting future African American leaders whose work is not only transforming their fields, but reshaping the very narrative of what leadership looks like in America. These are the visionaries, the architects of change, the ones who remind us that the future is not something we wait for, it's something we build together. So let's go ahead and dive in, man. And the first one I want to bring up is Dr. Brandon Frame, Re-Imaging Black Masculinity. This one is a really, really big issue with me, and I've been talking about it for a couple seasons here. You know, getting the Black community, our children, our wives, and the community to see Black men as what we should be. Unfortunately, there's a segment of people out there that want to label Black masculinity as some type of toxic behavior, and they want soft men. They want men that aren't out doing what they're supposed to be doing and building. And I'm 100% against that. So I hope that our discussion today will open up some minds into seeing Black men as what we really are, which is the leaders of our community. And we need to be masculine in order for that to happen. But Dr. Frame, as a founder of the Black Men Can organization, it's a movement that uplifts and redefines the image of Black men through education, storytelling, and empowerment. His work isn't just about mentorship, it's about rewriting the script. He's creating spaces where young Black boys see themselves as scholars, leaders, creators, not athletes, not musicians, not entertainers, but as scholars, leaders, and creators, where vulnerability is a strength, where excellence is expected. And that is very important to me. It's expected. You are expected to be successful. We need to stop seeing our young boys from the lowest level, people who aren't being excellent, and start looking at the people that are. One of the really good quote is, "We don't just build leaders," he says, "we build legacy." Dr. Frame Vision is a blueprint for generational change. Tony?
Yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. The main reason I like for you to start out with this is because this is something that's near and dear to your heart, and you bring it up almost every episode that we have, regardless of what we're talking about. We're talking about Black excellence when it comes down to men. This gentleman has hit the nail on the head. And if there's some way that we can recreate what he's doing in every neighborhood across America, it would be great, man. I got an example here right where I stay. I'm not gonna say where I stay. I'm not gonna call any names, but got four young men whose lives have changed because of decisions they made, because not having the proper mentors in their life and everything. They made football the most important thing in their lives. These young men were star football players on two different high school teams. And just so happened they had a practice on Thursday and they had Friday off. So they decided to go to a party, disagreement about drugs, and then a weapon. I guess one young man stole a weapon from the other young man. So it spills over on social media the rest of the night, the next morning on social media again. And these guys decide they want to do something about it. They want to go get the weapon that this other young man had took away from him. So they go to his house. There was some talk about the mother at that house or the aunt at that house didn't want the weapon there either. So basically they came over and three of them, it's four total, but I think three of them had weapons and the other one didn't. And so They confronted them out in the yard. Well, not in the yard, it was in the street in front of their house, and it just escalated real fast. And the young man that was in question that took the weapon, his uncle came outside and had the weapon and shot in the air a couple times to try to get the boys to leave. I guess he felt like that would scare them into leaving, but what it did was got them to basically empty their clip shooting at him. Shot 20 times, 20 clips, only one bullet hit them. That tell you how bad of a shot they are. But unfortunately, that one hit was a kill shot. Died. So in one evening, one afternoon, you got four young men that had the rest of their lives ahead of them. One 15, 16, 17, and 18. All four of them young men, prominent football players, not just on the team, that they were prominent football players. And now their lives are changed for the rest of their lives. And then you got one gentleman, 46 years old, his life around, was trying to do the right thing every day, and now he is gone. And I think that's the big picture there. If these young men had other things, and I'm not saying they did because I really don't know them, but in most cases, if athletics is the only thing that you got to look forward to on a day-to-day basis, your life is you bound to take a wrong turn somewhere when that football or whatever sport you are in is taken away from you. Or like they say, idle time is the devil's workshop. On a normal day, those young men would have been out practicing football, but they had a day off. And you see what kind of trouble it is. And in times like this, the community is always saying, well, where were the football coaches? Well, where were this? Where were the parents? That's what it is. Where were the parents and where were the community leaders? These young men grew up in a community, and like they said, it takes a village to raise kids. And if these kids don't feel like they got a village, they turn to other means, gangs in particular. So I think that this gentleman, Mr. Frame, Dr. Frame, is doing an excellent job in the communities that deserve it. And I think that if we could emulate what he's doing in other communities, we wouldn't have the problems that we talk about every time we come on this podcast almost. So, any final words on Mr. on Dr.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I mean, as you know, this is absolutely a pet peeve of mine. And I am not opposed to sports. And I mean, I don't know if I've ever said that on here, but I want people to recognize I'm not opposed to our children playing sports. What I am opposed to is that being the first choice that our parents are pushing our children into. Personal story with me is that I was a pretty damn good football player. I mean, I'm not going to say where I came from, but I was an excellent football player where I came from. But football was not my choice. I mean, I went a different way. But not once in my entire adult life with my child did I push her into playing sports. I didn't try to live my life vicariously through my daughter, even though she was athletic. I pushed her into education. I pushed her into science. I pushed her into engineering. I pushed her into things that have a long term effect. I'm a true believer that when your mind, as you said, when your mind is not busy, you're going to wander into things that you shouldn't wander into. That's the fault I have with sports because sports is for a certain amount of time and there is a break. What do they do during that break? When you're learning and you're educating yourselves, there is no break. You are always learning something new. You're always striving to educate yourself a little bit more. And I just think as parents, we need to push our children more into education as opposed to into sports because only a small percentage of men and women make it to a level where they're going to be able to make a living. The majority of people who go into sports are not going to make it. Same thing with entertainment. They're not going to make it in entertainment, the large majority of us. A small fraction makes it, and that's what they show you on TV all the time. But the majority of people do not make it, and they end up in bad situations. An example like Tony just gave, with some kids that he's been working with. Life moves fast, man. Life comes at you fast. That split second decision to pull that trigger and take that man's life is essentially cost those kids their life. They are going to be in jail for the rest of their lives. They're not going to give them a break like they would somebody who doesn't share our reflection and say, oh, we'll let them go to juvenile for 3 or 4 years and then let them out. No, they're going to put those kids in jail for the rest of their lives and over a immature mistake. So that's what I want to say.
Yeah, I'd also like to add, it's not all bad. On that same team, there's a young man that came off that team this year, and he's got a full ride to Howard University on a academic scholarship, not no sports scholarship. There's nothing wrong with a sports scholarship. You get your money where you can, but it's even more impressive when you've been a top tier athlete and you still get an academic scholarship. Okay, move on, but let's give these guys a hand clap. Now I'll take that back. Let's give that one guy a hand clap.
Nice,
That one
nice,
young
man. Don't
man.
forget his
So
name, man. Dr.
yeah,
Frame, man. Look him up. People read about him, see what he's doing.
okay. So we're gonna move right along, and the next person we want to talk about is Jaki. Okay, I said I won't get this wrong. Jata, Jataka Edie. Please forgive me if I messed up your name.
It was like Jotaka
Yeah,
Edie.
Jataka Edie. Thank you. Okay, so Jataka Edie, she's been called the Olivia Pope of Silicon Valley. But Miss Edie is more than a fixer. She's a movement builder, a strategist, and the force behind Win with Black Women. From shaping tech equity to mobilizing millions for justice, she's rewriting the rules of power, tapping in as we talk legacy leadership and lifting as we climb. So, like Dr. Frame, Miss Edie is one of the young leaders. She happens to be out in Silicon Valley. She's a political strategist and a tech change maker. Founded Win with Black Women. Her work sits at the intersection of civic power and cultural influence, a dynamic duo kind of thing. She's not just advocate for representation. She's building infrastructure, mobilizing networks, elevating Black women into positions of influence where decisions are made and futures are shaped. Uh, when we are not move when we are not a movement, she reminds us we are a movement. We are not a movement. She reminds us we are a movement. So it's a distinction there. And sorry about my tongue tiedness today, but it's obvious that she has a plan and she's gonna put it together using her tech skills and putting it together and helping with culture influence on different sites and everything and bringing women and lifting women up and everything. Uh, she's built the infrastructure. She's mobilized networks for women to network and to build each other up and possibly help each other up. Once again, we have a West Coast lady up in the Silicon Valley that they call when things are going wrong in their organization, and she's there to fix it. But in the meantime, she's also sharing that knowledge and bringing Black women together in particular. You have anything to add to it?
Yeah, no, I mean, what she's doing is amazing. I mean, she's out, like you said, the West Coast. She's in an area in a field that is not usually dominated by people to share our reflection, nor female. She's out doing her thing. She's trying to bring other sisters into the network. I'm very supportive of that in getting our people into industries that one, you can make a significant amount of money, and two, you can make a difference, and that's in tech. Tech is a field that we need to get more involved in. We need to become more interested in. So I appreciate what she's out there doing. I like the idea of, she's focusing on Black women. I'm perfectly fine with that, but I really wish that we would stop operating as if we're separate. There's not a Black woman race and a Black man race. You need to do Black people, families, husbands and wives. And when you do that and you say, oh, this is for black women or this is for black men. It separates us. And that's what the powers that be want. They want us separated. So if I have any suggestion to Miss Edie is, you know, focus on our people as a community and not just one section of people. But yeah, she's
That's
doing an excellent job.
that's great insight there. It just so happened that our first two are just like that. One is focusing on young men,
Black
the
men,
other
yep,
one is focusing on young women. If the two can meet, it'll be great,
absolutely.
And
Serious,
that's
serious.
what I'm sorry, in this time of MAGA and Trump world, that's what we have to do. I really don't have a problem with them separating as long as they can come together. It's kind of like a fraternity and a sorority. Every fraternity got a sister sorority, like Alpha Phi
Yeah,
Alpha, aka Omega Psi Phi, and Deltas. Uh, if these two could merge and put their organizations in the same communities and come together, I think that would be a bigger force, and I would be very excited about that. So I think you made a great point about how they should come together and put it together. And there's one thing that I think we don't talk about enough. We always talk about the future and the kids and everything, which is great, but we also got to add the parents in there too,
yeah,
some kind of way. They got to get in the mix because the parents are going to be the one that make it happen. And I'd like to see somehow, some way that we can add the parents in the mix and everything. So yeah, let's move right on along now. Next one.
yeah. So then the next person we have is um, Kimberly Crenshaw. She's an intellectual architect. If you've ever heard the term intersectionality, you've heard Kimberly Crenshaw's legacy. As a scholar, she's a civil rights advocate and co-founder of the African American Policy Forum, which does really, really good work. She's given language to the lived experiences of Black women. Her work challenges systems, it demands nuance, and it empowers us to see justice not as a destination, but as a lens. Without intersectionality, she says we cannot understand the full scope of inequality, excuse me. Kimberly Crenshaw is not just shaping academia, she's shaping consciousness. I did a little bit of looking on this young lady. She's out at, if I'm not mistaken, out of UCLA, another West Coast intellectual sister. She does a lot of good work on in civil rights arena as well as um, um, uh, losing my train of thought. The race theory one, I can't remember what's that. I can't remember the name. Nevertheless, she does a lot of good work on that and trying to explain to people what inequity is, what inequality is, uh, what not having the right people at the table, how it affects decisions that folks makes. It affects hiring practices. It affects who gets money for businesses. All that is intertwined in what she's out there fighting for. She's been around for a while as well. I would recommend again that people take a look, see what she's doing, support her. You don't have to financially support her, but just listen to what she says, do your own research, and be kind of a bouncing board or an extender, like I say, somebody who's doing something good. So instead of being directly involved in what the sister's doing, you can extend her message out further to some East Coast people, people down in the South and up in the Midwest.
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. She's doing uh she's doing great work where we need help at right now, helping to shape policy. Anytime we got somebody that can help shape policy, because the Democratic caucus look like they need somebody to help shape caucus about right now, because they losing bad. And I might be misjudging the situation, but what it looks like to me is they're getting beat to the punch every time on everything almost. And without without the kind of policy, African American policy that these people can bring to the table, because they're not going to do it for us. I don't know how many times we got to say that. Ain't nobody going to come save black people. So we got to be out there pushing our own policies and what we want, and we got to be loud and proud about it. And and like you said, I used to not agree with it too much, but now I totally agree with what you're saying. Is is just like in an airplane when you losing altitude and the thing fall down. They say put it over your mouth first, save yourself, and then reach down and help your kid. We gotta save ourselves first.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
got to reach up and get that oxygen before we can help anybody else. Because I think we got comfortable and we thought we had our oxygen and we were at a good level, but no, we're not. We found out that what we've been given can be taken away with one stroke of a pen. Now, I don't think it's permanent, but still, it makes you feel real uncomfortable when one person has the control over the whole country and can take away what we've done in one stroke of a pen. And it makes you think about what making America again looks like. So if making America again looks like what this man has done in the last 8 months or so is taking away the African American legacy at every point and at every change he can do, getting rid of every person of color and sending them back to their country, and sometimes not even to their country, to any country, just get them out of America. Uh, Calling foul on diversity and saying that white people are being reverse discriminated on. So is this is what making America great again looks like. I don't want no parts of it. And we better start fighting. And we better start fighting hard. And we're gonna need intellectual architects like Miss Crenshaw to help us with policies and getting together in organization. We need people organizing on the ground. That's what we need.
Yeah, no,
Anything?
I mean, again, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you hit on a few things that are going on in our community. And again, this is something I've been saying for almost 2 years on this podcast. Is that yes, Black folks need to worry about ourselves. If there was not something that we didn't learn from Biden's election and Trump's election, is that the people who we used to think were our allies are not our allies, and we don't need to be fighting their battles. Because they all come here, and it's all we all, it's kumbaya until they get a little bit of power, and then you see how they turn their backs on our community. So I think that we should focus on ourselves first, and focus on ourselves only. And when it comes a time for us to come to the table and negotiate with somebody to get them to vote on our side, then we can do that. But it's going to be a fair negotiation. We're not going to negotiate with the with the Latina community anymore, just because you know just because they share a darker skin tone, because we know that they'll change on you in a heartbeat. We're not going to do it with the Africans that come from other countries who aren't FBAs, who aren't foundational Black Americans, who come here under everything that our people have accomplished and get things. And then the first opportunity they get to change their back on us, they do. So we need to give ourselves the oxygen first, and then we'll sit down and negotiate with people about things that are going to benefit us. We're not negotiating with you anymore to get your politicians in the office. We're going to negotiate to help Black folks out, and I think we need to get more intentional with that.
Yeah. And like I said, when you do that, you need policies. You just
Yep.
can't do it. And we need intellects like this young lady and more of them to help guide us. We don't need, like you said, we don't need the one leader. We need many leaders all over the country with a common goal, at least the framework of a common goal. It's hard to get a whole lot of people together and get one central idea, but you can get a framework of a central idea of where we want to go and what we want to do. And I think that people like this are going to be good for it. So that looks good for us in the future and everything. We're going to kind of transition into uh, something a little bit lighter now. We're gonna go into the arts and stuff. I think everybody know Amanda Gorman, the young lady that wowed everybody in 2021. Uh, uh, when she stunned the world at a presidential inauguration with her poem, "The Hill the Hill We Climb." But her impact goes farther than that moment. She's a poet, yes, but also a cultural force. Her words carry the weight, uh, history, and the hope of tomorrow. She speaks to the soul of a generation that refuses to be silenced. There is always light, she wrote. If only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. Amanda Gorman reminds us of the art of activism and that language can lead revolutions. Yeah, this young lady blew me away, and she continues to blow me away with her poems and following in the footsteps of people like Maya Angelou and Nikki Giovanni and people like that, people that had spoken words and could make the revolution, so to speak, uh, come to life with words and everything. She has the single focusedness of a young person that's trying to tell her generation that this is what we got to do to move forward. We can't stand still. There's a light. We got to move forward towards it. And she is so poised. And I think we got a lot of young people like that in this world. We just got to put the light on them. And just like any organization, the older people and the people that's been there for a little while, you got that word that's called seniority and everything. Sometimes they hate to get out of the spotlight and let the youth shine. I'm a firm believer, if you train them up good and you let them go and they shine, it looks better on you than you out there shining and they're in your and they're in the background with all that knowledge. It's a balancing act, but I just think we don't do a good job of balancing it right now. You know, that's where I'm at with that. Anything you want to add for me?
No, not a lot, man. I mean, I agree with you 100%, man. I mean, I think that, I mean, one, she's a shining star. She's talented. She has a great grasp of the English language from a poem perspective. And I think that we should introduce her to a lot of our young folks coming up. Again, letting them see that black folks and black excellence is in every part of American and Western culture. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um, I do think that this goes back to what I was saying earlier in the conversation. Is she's a poet, and how many of our parents, husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, are pushing our kids into literature. How many of are taking the talent that they naturally have and formulating into somebody who can be Amanda Gorman. And so I think she's a example of what we can do for our children from an intellectual standpoint, is to push them towards making their brain stronger, their mind stronger, their knowledge stronger, as opposed to making their legs stronger, their body stronger, their arms stronger. Focus on their brain, and I think that's our way out of the circumstances that we're in this country. Is to If someone's excellent in sports, let them go do sports. I don't have any issues with that. But we need to tell our kids from the time they can understand what we're saying to them is that your way to what you want is through education. I'll end it with that.
Yeah, I agree. Um, this young lady deserve, in my opinion, she as it deserve a NIL for academics.
Absolutely, absolutely,
They
absolutely.
need to have NIL for academics because these are the people that are going to change the world. These young people in academics are going to change the world. I'm not saying athletes can't change. Athlete Athletes can make you feel better about the world for 2 to 4 hours a day, a weekend, or whatever. But people like her are going to be the people that change the world for you. And I think those kids, those academic kids, deserve NIL money. And if there's a way to figure it out, they should figure it out, you know. But with a jackass that's trying to get rid of the Department of Education, you can't do that, you know, because all the smart people about education are leaving. Go figure, you know. But yeah, she definitely deserved that. Uh, my school in particular, I was really excited about that. Every year during test time, and of course, it's kind of selfish too, but the school has what they call academic pep rally. Just like you have pep rally for homecoming,
Hmm.
during test week, you have an academic pep rally, and they give away prizes. I mean, they give away AirPods, they give away MacBooks and everything to these kids and stuff. They're not little bitty prizes and stuff; they're big prizes. And I think that shines a light on how important academics should be for kids and everything. So we
Make learning fun again, and I think that's the key. That's where we've fallen down in our community, where people treat learning and academia as if it's a chore, as opposed to it being a joy to educate yourself and to use your mind to the full extent of what your maker gave you the ability to do.
right, right, exactly. Okay, so I think we've done a good job with a cross section of people doing different things, of trying to bring light to these young people that are going to make a difference in this world, and will help. I think will help the African American community. And once again, let's get a cheer for them and everything. There we have it. There we have it. So what we want to do is tie last year's, excuse me, last week's episode with this week episode, and kind of bring together the future leaders of America, political and otherwise. It was one gentleman. This is a time when we can add whatever we want to add to it. One gentleman that I left out last week that I really don't want to overlook because he's doing great things is Westmoreland, the governor out of Maryland. Uh, he is the epitome of what we see, what we should see. I think for me, he's the second coming of Obama, pretty
Mhm.
much. You look at him and he don't have any weaknesses. You try to find them. I've tried to find weaknesses. You know, like I said, he redefined what executive leadership is. He becoming the first black mayor or governor. He blends a military discipline with literally literary depth and community rooted vision. His leadership is both historic and deeply human, uh, meaning that he's from a military background. I think he was a Navy pilot, I believe. I'll look that up in a
No,
few.
I think it was usually the Army or Marines. I can't remember.
Army or Marine? Oh, okay. I got the wrong that was yeah, that was the wrong one. Yeah, he was military. I'll get you the proper whatever it was in a few. Uh and he brings that discipline to the office, along with he's well spoken, and he shows that he has that executive leadership. This is you can talk about DEI all you want to. This young man will run circles around most executives in America right now. I'll put him against any governor or any senator or anybody in an executive position right now. The things he did with Maryland and Baltimore in general, since he's been in office, is downright uh, 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 spectacular. And nobody's talking about that ship that hit the bridge and killed though I think it was one or two people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was a devastating thing. It caused a backup in the busiest harbor in the world almost, and he got it done quietly and efficiently, and nobody's saying anything about it. Quietly and efficiently, and nobody's saying anything about it. And that's the kind of stuff that gets on my nerves in most cases, is they're always the first one to point out the bad things that black executives do, because Donald Trump's narrative and MAGA narrative is uh these black cities are ran I mean these cities are ran by black mayors, and they are ruining these cities and stuff. No, yeah, I remember a couple years during his first term, he called Baltimore sewer city and some of everything. Have you heard him say anything about Baltimore since he's been in office this time?
No, he's not going to.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah, but that's the plan, man. Go ahead.
No, that's
Well,
basically
yeah,
it. I'm
yeah,
just saying that nobody's giving him his flowers outside of the people that see the work he does every day, and he goes into every area. He don't shy away from nobody at all. So go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
I mean he's just like the majority of black men in this country. When given the opportunity, when the playing field is level, we shine. And by the way, Westmore was he was Army.
Okay,
He
thank you.
deployed to Afghanistan with the 82nd Airborne, and he retired or left as a captain in the Army. I mean, this is a guy that's been out in the fleet, has served honorably, and has come back and taken over the great state of Maryland. I mean, you're right; he's done an excellent job. And the people who want to continue to put out this narrative that black folks can't do anything are not going to say anything about the fact that the mayor of Baltimore, that young brother that's out there, did an excellent job of working through the Baltimore ship accident. And Westmoreland has supported him from the very beginning. Westmore has supported him from the
Mhm.
beginning, and still has. You're not going to hear anything from the Trump administration or any of the Republicans because only they are the ones that can do good things for the country. So I'm going to give him his flowers. I'm going to give the young brother in Baltimore his flowers as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing, and representing not just yourself and your family, but our community.
Those brothers are tearing it up. Yeah, that was a good lookout. The mayor of Baltimore.
Mhm.
Do you know his name right offhand?
I cannot remember his name, but I will find it for you real quick. Um,
Yeah, he's Brandon Scott.
that's it. I was going to say I thought it
Yeah,
was Brogdon, but yeah, Brandon Scott. Yeah, good
Brandon.
young brother, man.
He's the crazy thing about it is all the junk they talked about Baltimore. Crime rate has gone down faster than most cities in America,
Sure.
but nobody's talking about it.
Right. Well, because you take away a talking point.
Yeah,
Just like every
exactly,
time you hear people talk about guns and stuff, it's always Chicago. Yeah, everybody wants to talk about Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. Nobody talks about some of the cities down in Mississippi and Louisiana, some of the Arkansas. Three of the least educated states in the union, and about their poverty rate, about the fact that no one gets on the governor of Arkansas, the Huckleberry, whoever the hell her name is, about the fact that.
you can call a Huckleberry Finn. That's what you
Right.
can call
No
him.
one talks about the fact that Arkansas has the highest mortality rate for mothers having children. No one talks about that. No one talks about the fact that they have one of the highest murder rates in those states. No one's talked about Louisiana, who has one of the highest um, jail populations in the union. They only want to talk about things that push up their base. They talk about MAGA people who aren't living the life they think they should be living because of their own inefficiencies, but they want to blame somebody else.
Exactly. Exactly. Then you got another brother. We can go on and on all night, but we're gonna hit on these and we're gonna try to get these people their flower. Mayor Brandon Johnson out of Chicago. You said Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago murder rate is down also.
Yep.
Chicago is one of the hardest cities to lead because of the different segments of the city.
Sure.
You got different power uh, structures in the city. You got certain people that hold power that can move a certain amount of people in different directions. You got the Jewish people. You got the black people, you got Hispanic. There's a big Hispanic group of people in
Irish,
Chicago. Yeah,
Italian.
There you go, Irish and
Yeah.
Italian.
Yeah. See, everybody forgets that when they start talking about Irish, Italians. You
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
They got a history too. You know, no one wants to ever talk about their history.
And they live in Chicago, and
Yeah,
they
they live in
still.
Chicago.
And the last time I saw it, they still shooting and killing people like gangsters and
Exactly.
stuff.
No
So
different than anybody else, man. Murder and robbery and that type of stuff has nothing to do with what you look like. It has to do with your circumstances, economic.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I just wanted to give those 4 or 5 people. Of course, we talked about uh Crockett last week. And there's more. There's a whole lot more. You got the senator out of Maryland. There you go with another Maryland person doing great
Oh, yeah,
things.
you're talking about
Yeah,
all. I think her name is all something.
yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. The yes, all something. And we don't want to leave here without saying their name properly and making sure they get their light. So uh, as you run down what we did today and talked about today, I'm gonna get her name for you. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. So what we did today, we thought this was a good opportunity for us to talk about, as Tony said, black men and black women that are out here doing the work. Don't let the media and those of us that want to keep us separate, keep our community separated, get you to believe that you should be listening to some entertainer or some sports person about our community. We have people who are educated, are taking the time to go and become scholars, have worked to become politicians that are in positions of authority, positions of power that you should be listening to. I think Tony did probably about 6 months ago. We showed a video of Brother Malcolm X, who was basically doing an interview, and he said, show me in the white community where athletes, um, entertainers, singers, musicians speak on behalf of the community. Show me in the Spanish community where that happens. Show me in the Italian community. Show me in the Irish community. And you don't see it. We're the only community that allows media to put a microphone in front of somebody who makes a living playing a game to talk about what happens in our community. And we need to stop that. We as a community needs to let them know that we appreciate the fact that you can jump out the gym and that you can run 100 meters in less than 10 seconds and that you're a great baseball player or whatever it is that you do, or a great singer. But you're not the spokesman for our community. You don't live the lives that we live. You don't make the amount of money we live. Let people who are educated talk about that stuff, and you focus on what it is that you do, which is showing the world that we are not just intellectually superior, but we're athletically superior as well.
Yeah, good. I appreciate that. We're gonna end on that note because that's a high note. I enjoyed the show this week. I think we put some good names out there and we highlighted some people out there. We're going to kind of leave it there. And finally, you know where to find us and everything. And we look forward to seeing y'all again next week. Send us off, Suleiman. Send us off.
Yeah, man, great time, man. Appreciate it, everybody. Good conversation, man. We just gave y'all some names and some topics you can look up on your own and educate yourself. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Check us out on YouTube and check us out on Spotify.
Until then.